Hey, welcome back to me being cheap. We're down here in the creepy cellar. I have a water softener that's not working. I've had a plumber out a couple times. It's still not working. I'm going to take a look at it to see if I can get it going. Google research and YouTube research suggests that one of the most common problems, if you've got one that still turns on, it's still programmable, you can still hear it cycle when you have it programmed to cycle, but it's not using salt. One of the most common things that happens is what's called a salt bridge, and so we're going to try and get the salt out and see if that's what has happened. But I can show you this. It's pretty much a solid concretion, so it's quite possible that it has created a salt bridge. And basically what that means is the water that's going into the system is going down below, but the salt is kind of encrusted up on top, and the water's just flowing underneath it and not coming in contact with the salt. So I'm going to get to work shoveling this out, chiseling it out, and hopefully we'll go from there. All right, stay posted. Alright, welcome back. This is a dirty and messy job, and it's a lot of work, especially if you're downstairs in a cellar. So what I have been doing is I have been breaking up this salt concretion, and it is very hard, with some hot water, and then vacuuming it out. It's too far down. I cannot reach that now with a shovel. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. My wet dry vac is pretty small, and not that I'd want to carry a big one up the stairs anyway. So let me show you what we're gonna do. Just try and melt the salt away. Alright, we're going to let that sit for a while, and then I will come back and vacuum it up and haul out more dirty, salty sludge. Alright, check back in a few. Alright, welcome back to me being cheap. I have the brine tank cleaned out. I've got a lot of salt there. A lot of the liquid salt just went down the drain. Some went in the trash can. I've just got a mess of it everywhere. There's a little bit of salt left behind there. I need to get something kind of slender and reach in there and see if I can knock that up. And as well as there's some back there too. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. But the next thing we have to do is clean this venturi nozzle. And the instructions are right there. I've never done that before, so I'm just going to follow these instructions. The first one being to do the bypass valve. And this thing over here, it says push for bypass, so we did that already. So we got that on bypass. And that little thing just pops out the other side. I guess that's to turn the water off to it. And then we just had to follow these instructions. So the number 2 is to remove the softener top cover. Hold the nozzle and venturi housing tightly with one hand while turning the cap off. Lift out all parts shown and thoroughly wash in warm soapy water, especially the nozzle and the venturi. Use a soft brush if needed to clean the small passages. Be sure center holes in the flow plugs are clear. Place both flow plugs concave side down. To locate the plugs correctly, observe identifying letters. Place all other parts in the exact order shown. Important, be sure holes in the gasket are positioned over holes in the housing. And then use the recharge feature to start a recharge. So there's a cap, an O-ring, a screen support, a screen, a nozzle and venturi, gasket, flow plug, HVDC nozzle and venturi housing, a female nut. So, okay. So hold the nozzle and venturi housing tightly with one hand while turning the cap off. First thing we have to do is take this lid off. Well, there's one lid. There's a mess down here. Okay. Guess I just set this to the side, right? Doesn't exactly come apart. Surely that's not what I'm taking apart. Surely it's just this thing. Oh, spider webs. Okay. I'm supposed to take all this out, I guess. Making a gurgling sound. Doesn't look that bad to me. It's a little crusty. Guess that's gonna go this way. So if this is regular maintenance, I have not done this ever. Alright, there's actually one more piece. And it's this piece right here. I'm going to have to see if I can get this out. Make sure it's not clogged up. Kind of hard to do one-handed. So I actually looked at some YouTube videos of venturi nozzles, and mine actually didn't look bad. So I am going to make a safe bet that that's not the problem with my water softener. But really all you're looking for is to make sure the holes aren't clogged and make sure like the rubber gaskets and so forth aren't worn out. I think my little metal chopstick is too thick. Let's see if I can find something else. Okay, got this little sucker out and the hole is clear. That looks pretty clean down in there. I'm going to go ahead and pop this back down in the hole. So I'll get the rest of the venturi nozzle, put it together, put the cap back on, put some salt in here, and then do a recharge on the system, and we will see if it works. I'll be back shortly. Okay, I reassembled the venturi nozzle. I have the cap on. Now all I need to do is put this top back on, put that top back on, pull the bypass, and put some salt in it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but inside this float tube there's some salt in the bottom, And I don't know if it's supposed to be that way or not. And so before I add salt to the bin, I'm going to go ahead and do a recharge and see if the water actually goes in and does the float like it's supposed to. If the float is not working, that may actually be the problem. So I figure I'll try this before I add the salt. So I think the water softener is repaired. The glasses are a lot cleaner compared to what they were. Not perfect, there's still some hard water buildup such as this. I'm going to have to get something to clean that off. But the silverware is shinier. And again, the glassware looks clean. So yay, fix the water softener.